Fuck around, make my 40 pop.
Alright, y'all, Boruto episode 221 preview. This right here is going to be the start of the Chunin exam. It's going to be super interesting. By the way, I do want to point something out. I actually uploaded my review earlier on today. I uploaded it super late. I didn't even plan on uploading a review today. I was just super tired. I was going to take the day off. But the spoilers actually released about the next chapter, and tomorrow I need to make videos about the next chapter. So today I had to get the review out. I didn't necessarily mean for it to be so late, but regardless, the review is out. So if you guys want to see it, it's already out. But regardless, now we talk about Boruto episode 221, the preview. This right here, as I said, the Chunin exam is going to be very interesting. I have a lot of high hopes for the Chunin exam. I talked about what I want to see from the Chunin exam already, and I talked about what was ideal for the Chunin exam. I kind of said that I wanted like a full 15 to 20 episode arc, all the other getting from the other villages, a whole bunch of drama, a whole bunch of 1v1s and stuff like that. I think a lot of people kind of confuse that for my expectations. That right there specifically is what I want to see. I don't necessarily expect to see that, but that is definitely what I would want to see. So that right there is just my personal opinion. If you're just going to slap the name Chunin exam on like a regular 4 to 6 episode arc, it does the Chunin exam absolutely no justice. You might as well just scrap the whole idea. But regardless, in my personal opinion, I think it's going to be good. I have decently high expectations for it, not necessarily just what I want to see. Hopefully they capitalize on a very, very good arc that could possibly come about in regards to the anime only content. But regardless, let's get into the actual preview, see exactly what they got going on. This is the Chunin exam. Again, as I said, I want to see other characters from other villages. This looks like a straight Hidden Leaf Village staff right here. Now, we don't necessarily know if this is actually the Chunin exam as of yet, but hypothetically, if I were to assume something, this doesn't look like an all-inclusive staff. Now, don't get me wrong, Boruto before it pretty much had a lot of Hidden Leaf Village staff before, so we can't necessarily rule that out completely, but regardless, red flag number one. But again, it looks like they're going to be in the forest. This right here is going to be very interesting, mainly because the last time that we did go through the forest, it was very childish. A lot of people didn't necessarily like it, mainly because in comparison to the Naruto series, it was pretty much like cotton candy. The Naruto series Forest of Death, it was absolutely insane. That was the first time that we did get to see Orochimaru. Obviously, we don't necessarily expect to see a villain of that substance in this Chunin exam, mainly because there is an overall storyline that we do have to get to, but regardless, it would still be a very interesting plot if someone would actually get seriously injured in the Forest of Death, or the Force of Life, as people like to jokingly call it right now on Boruto. Our goal is to be able to recruit shinobi from varied field of experience. So we see Team Enoshicho right here. Again, we haven't necessarily seen other getting from other villages. I think it's definitely possible for this to just be a complete Hidden Leaf Village Chunin exam. That is just not what I want to see. I want to see at least a Shinki, but again, you never know. Let's continue on. Considering Ishiki's attack, this is also meant to reassure the village. So again, we have Sada right here. We see Sada carrying a regular person, Mitsuki also carrying a regular person. We don't know exactly what this right here is actually going to be about. Now, I do have to point out, this might actually be a drill in the actual Forest of Death, or this right here could possibly be just some actual teammates that they did see, or they do feel like his actual teammates from the Hidden Leaf Village, and they don't necessarily want to leave them back around to actually die or something like that. Again, if that is the case, I'd absolutely love it, mainly because it has some roots from the Forest of Death. You can't just pass out in the Forest of Death. You may actually die in the Forest of Death. That's why it's called the Forest of Death. We see some more Hidden Leaf ninjas right here. Again, they're sliding down. I want to know whose jutsu this is. This right here looks like quicksand, I believe. I don't necessarily think anybody has actually used a quicksand jutsu, so this might just be a actual trap in the Forest of Death or Forest of Life, but you never know. Let's see. Oh, for the exam, make the best use of your strengths and show us your power. So again, I haven't seen any gettings from other villages. I'm not necessarily saying that right there is going to be a make or break for this Chunin exam. I just personally believe the cap for it would probably be like a 5 out of 10. Mainly because if it's just a Boruto and everybody else show, it's probably just going to be like a regular arc that we just obviously assume that, hey, Team 7 is going to be promoted to Chunin exam, possibly 1 or 2 other characters, but that's pretty much it. I really hope that Team 7, if this right here is actually just a Hidden Leaf centric episode, I hope they get challenged by some very strong ninjas that we haven't necessarily seen much of before. For example, Tsubaki the Samurai. One thing that we did actually read during the spoilers, this right here might be some spoilers, not necessarily going to be anything too serious, but they are actually going to be able to use the scientific ninja technology. So because they're going to be able to use the scientific ninja technology, they might be able to supplement the strong characters for just scientific ninja tech. Now again, if that is the case, they have to make it very realistic. They can't necessarily make it seem like they're just robots running around destroying Team 7 left and right. And even more, if that is the case, that there are gettings out there that can actually push characters like Boruto, Sada, and Mitsuki. Those characters should be in the actual main storyline. You can't just have strong characters on the sideline, which is basically what they've been doing for a very long time with Shinichia. That's besides the point. I still do have very high hopes for this arc regardless. They have a huge snake behind. One of the things that I would really like to see, new Boruto fans may not know this, but back in the day, old heads remember this, during the Mitsuki retrieval arc, Boruto had a snake summoning jutsu. Now, he wasn't necessarily able to sign a permanent summoning jutsu at that particular time, but I personally believe Boruto right now would be able to handle that summoning jutsu, and it would definitely be very beneficial to Boruto. This right here is the video topic for a whole nother video, but one of the overpowering things about that snake summoning jutsu that Boruto did have is that if he spit on you, you turn to stone, like 100%. So like that right there could actually be very effective, not only versus regular ninja, but even a character like Ishiki Ozuki if he's caught off guard. So hopefully we get to see the return of Garaga. That right there is the actual name of the snake that Boruto did have as his summoning jutsu. But regardless, this scene right here looks very interesting. Now, don't get me wrong. We don't necessarily know exactly what this right here. This right here might be a scientific technology as well. That's actually just designed to scare people, but I think it's going to be a real snake. That right there is just my personal opinion. If that is the case, there is actually going to be a threat of death in this Chunin exam. And again, one of the ways to actually supplement the actual loss of characters like Shinki and other characters from other villages is to actually have an actual threat of danger, an actual threat of death. So I think this right here is definitely going to be very good, especially in the next episode, mainly because we're jumping directly into the action. Alright, so that's pretty much it. Again, I personally think characters from other villages would be immensely better. It would basically double the entertainment for this arc. Hopefully they do that. Again, this right here isn't necessarily going to confirm that there aren't characters from other villages. That right there is just what I want to see. But again, let me know what you guys think about this episode in the comment section below. It's been your boy Barry B, and we out.
It's a knife.